Picture this: the grand halls of the French court in the late 18th century, with the flicker of candlelight casting long, dancing shadows across opulent, gilded walls. It's a world of aristocracy, excess, and intrigue, where every whisper could change the course of history. Among the delicate porcelain vases and velvet drapes, a single object catches the eye: a diamond necklace, its brilliance rivaling the very stars themselves. The stones gleam with the promise of wealth and power, a treasure beyond compare. But this shimmering necklace wasn't just an item of luxury, it was a symbol, a catalyst for one of the most notorious scandals ever to hit the French monarchy. At its core, this necklace wasn't simply stolen, it was part of a far more elaborate conspiracy, a web of deception so intricate that it would ensnare some of the most influential people in France. In a world where appearances meant everything and public favor was a fragile thing, the stakes could not have been higher. A false move, a whispered lie, could topple empires, and in this case, it did just that. The woman who would become forever tied to this scandal was Jeanne de la Motte, a name that would echo through history for all the wrong reasons. A figure of cunning, ambition, and audacity, Jeanne would outmaneuver the most powerful men of her time, weaving a tale of deceit so convincing that even the queen herself would be dragged into it. Jeanne's actions would not only challenge the honor of the monarchy but also fuel the flames of dissatisfaction that were already burning beneath the surface of French society. This wasn't just a theft, it was a story of how ambition, manipulation, and a simple necklace could create a perfect storm, one that would shake the very foundation of a monarchy already teetering on the edge. And as the events unfolded, it became clear, this was a scandal that would not only change the lives of those involved but also have lasting repercussions on the course of history. Welcome to the affair of the diamond necklace, a tale of betrayal, power, and the unraveling of a royal family. The year is 1785, a pivotal moment in history, where the cracks in the French monarchy were becoming impossible to ignore. France, once the envy of Europe with its rich culture, art, and unparalleled luxury, was now gripped by deep economic turmoil. The crown was burdened with crippling debt, largely the result of costly wars and extravagant spending, while the common people, struggling with high taxes, famine, and a lack of basic resources, began to grow restless. And yet, in the heart of Versailles, the opulent palace of the French kings and queens, the court was a world apart. Where the lives of the royals seemed untouched by the suffering of their subjects, at the center of this turmoil was none other than Marie Antoinette, the Queen of France. Hailing from Austria, Marie Antoinette was never fully embraced by the French people, who saw her as an outsider, a symbol of everything they resented. But it wasn't just her foreign heritage that made her a figure of controversy. It was her lavish lifestyle, which only served to fuel the growing discontent among the masses. The Queen was often blamed for the country's economic crisis, and her tendency to indulge in luxury, whether it was extravagant parties, towering hairstyles, or vast collections of jewelry, did little to quell these accusations. However, it wasn't her spending alone that would eventually become the tipping point. It was the scandal surrounding a single object, a diamond necklace, a piece of jewelry so expensive it could have fed a small village for years. A necklace that would come to represent not just a foolish display of wealth, but a dangerous scheme that would forever tarnish her reputation. This was not just a diamond necklace, it was a symbol of the deepening divide between the monarchy and the people, a symbol of deceit, power, and manipulation. And so, as whispers of this scandal began to ripple through the court of Versailles, the once glorious reign of Marie Antoinette began to unravel. What seemed like an ordinary piece of jewelry would soon ignite a storm of intrigue, betrayal, and royal deception that would send shockwaves throughout France and set the stage for the French Revolution. Join me, as we journey back to 1785, to a time when an innocent queen's reputation would be forever tainted by a single necklace and the lies of those she trusted. It's a case that's filled with twists, turns, and shocking revelations. A case that proves how power, greed, and the thirst for control can lead even the most powerful to their undoing. So, here's the million-dollar question. What exactly happened with the necklace, and how did it go from being a symbol of royal excess to one of the most infamous scandals in history? How did something so seemingly insignificant become a catalyst for the downfall of a monarchy already teetering on the edge of collapse? Was Marie Antoinette truly guilty, or was she merely a pawn in a much larger, more elaborate game of deception? It's a question that has intrigued historians for centuries. The affair unfolded in a tangled mess of lies, ambition, and betrayal, but at the heart of it, one thing remains clear. The French people were convinced that their queen was responsible for the scandal. Whether she was directly involved or not, the public perception was enough to tarnish her image permanently. But was she truly guilty? Or was she simply a victim of circumstance, manipulated by those around her? Now, I want to hear from you. Do you believe Marie Antoinette was really the mastermind behind the affair? Or was she an innocent woman caught in the wrong place at the wrong time? Was she a victim of manipulation, or did she knowingly partake in the deceit? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think about this scandal that, to this day, still has the power to spark heated debates. Your opinions matter, and together, we can uncover even more layers of this fascinating and twisted chapter of history. As the diamond necklace passed from hand to hand, the intricate web of lies and deceit began to unravel. At first, everything seemed to be going according to plan. Jeanne de la Motte, with her carefully crafted story, had managed to manipulate Cardinal de Rohan and convince him that he was acting on behalf of Queen Marie Antoinette herself. The necklace, a symbol of unimaginable wealth, changed hands several times, moving from one shady figure to the next, all under the guise of royal favor. But every scheme has a breaking point, and for Jeanne and her cohorts, that point came when the jewelers demanded payment for the necklace that was never going to be paid. The jewelers, desperate for their money, approached Cardinal de Rohan, who, believing he had made a legitimate transaction on the Queen's behalf, was now thrust into a corner. When the payment was not made, the jewelers grew suspicious and began to ask questions. Rohan, unable to provide the necessary funds, was exposed. It didn't take long for the conspiracy to unfold, with the trail of deception leading straight to Jeanne and her accomplices. The authorities were soon on their heels, arresting those involved in the fraudulent scheme, but even as Jeanne de la Motte and her partners in crime were apprehended, the damage to the royal family had already been done. The public, who had long harbored resentment for Marie Antoinette's extravagant lifestyle, jumped to conclusions. The scandal spread like wildfire, with whispers and rumors about the Queen's involvement at every turn. The French people, already struggling under the weight of economic hardship and seeing their queen living in lavish excess, were eager to believe the worst. In their eyes, the scandal confirmed everything they had come to believe about Marie Antoinette, that she was a symbol of royal corruption, indulgence, and an out-of-touch monarchy. The truth, however, was far more complicated. Marie Antoinette had nothing to do with the theft, and she certainly hadn't ordered the purchase of the necklace. Yet, despite her innocence, the damage to her reputation was catastrophic. The scandal fueled the growing discontent with the monarchy, and the Queen became an easy target for the angry mobs and reformist factions gaining momentum in France. This was a turning point for the French royal family, a moment that would contribute to the collapse of the monarchy and set the stage for the tumultuous events of the French Revolution. As the scandal exploded, it wasn't long before the conspirators were dragged into the public eye. The courtroom became the stage for a drama that would unfold before the eyes of a nation already on edge. Jeanne de la Motte, Cardinal de Rohan, and their accomplices were brought to trial in a public court, their fates hanging in the balance. But while the proceedings were dramatic, with witnesses and evidence laying bare the complexity of the deception, the damage to the royal family's reputation had already been done. The trial itself was a spectacle, a chance for the French public to feast on the drama of the high-profile case. Jeanne, the mastermind, played her part with calculated poise. While Cardinal de Rohan, once one of the most influential men in France, sat in disgrace, his name forever linked to this sordid affair. As the trial continued, the truth came to light, a complex web of manipulation, with Jeanne at the center, having convinced Rohan that he was acting on behalf of Queen Marie Antoinette. Yet, despite the revelations of fraud and deceit, the real tragedy was that the monarchy, already in a fragile state, was the true victim of the scandal. Even as the court proceedings reached their conclusion, the stain on the monarchy's reputation was indelible. The scandal had been a gift to the enemies of the crown, providing a perfect example of the excess, corruption, and incompetence that many believed defined the royal family. The public was quick to associate Marie Antoinette with the affair, despite the fact that she had been completely unaware of the plot. The Queen became the face of everything wrong with the monarchy in the eyes of the French people, a symbol of royal privilege and excess that only deepened the divide between the ruling elite and the struggling masses. The affair of the diamond necklace, though ultimately a tale of individual greed and manipulation, became something much more significant. It played a pivotal role in the growing unrest that was beginning to ripple through France. The monarchy, already unpopular due to economic strife and political mismanagement, now had a scandal attached to its name that would not easily be forgotten. And while Jeanne de la Motte and her conspirators were punished, the damage to the royal family's credibility was irreversible. This event, dramatic as it was one of the many sparks that would ignite the flames of revolution. The French Revolution was already on the horizon, but scandals like the affair of the diamond necklace provided the fuel to fire the anger and dissatisfaction of the people. The monarchy, weakened by years of poor leadership and now stained by scandal, would never recover from the blows it suffered during this tumultuous time. In the end, the affair of the diamond necklace stands as a stark reminder of just how easily power can be manipulated. What began as a simple act of deceit, a necklace, a few conspirators, and a web of lies, spiraled into one of the most catastrophic scandals in history. It wasn't just a theft, it was a symbol of how the royals, once seen as untouchable, were vulnerable to the same forces of ambition, greed, and manipulation that drove those in the lower classes. A single moment of dishonesty, compounded by the perfect storm of royal excess and public discontent, became the tipping point for a monarchy already on the edge. For Marie Antoinette, the consequences were devastating. Though she was innocent of any wrongdoing, the stain of the scandal would never leave her. In the eyes of the public, she was no longer just the Queen of France, she was the embodiment of everything that was wrong with the monarchy. The affair of the diamond necklace shattered her image. And in many ways, it sealed the fate of the French royal family. By the time the trial was over, the damage had been done, and the monarchy was too weak to recover. The scandal, combined with the widespread economic hardship and rising political tensions, helped fuel the anger of the French people. It created a perfect storm that led to the French Revolution, which would change the course of history forever. Marie Antoinette, once the epitome of royal luxury, would ultimately meet a tragic end at the hands of the very people she had tried to rule. And the French monarchy, once a symbol of power and stability, would never rise again. The affair of the diamond necklace wasn't just the tale of a stolen necklace or a royal scandal, it was the beginning of the end for an empire. It showed us the fragility of power, how the smallest acts of betrayal and deception can unravel even the most powerful of institutions. And, as we look back on it today, we are reminded of how history can be shaped by the actions of a few, and how a single moment can alter the course of an entire nation's future. Thank you for joining me on this journey into history's most fascinating scandals. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more true crime stories from history. And remember, the past has a way of shaping our future. Stay curious and stay vigilant. History, in all its complexity, has a way of revealing its most intriguing secrets that, sometimes, leave us questioning the very foundations upon which empires were built. The affair of the diamond necklace is just one such example of how a scandal, born from lies and manipulation, can alter the course of an entire nation's future. It's a reminder that, behind every headline, behind every royal portrait, there's a story waiting to be uncovered. And as we've seen, the truth is often stranger than fiction. If you found this tale of deceit, power, and betrayal captivating, then don't miss out on more of the stories we uncover right here at the Crime Keeper. From true crime mysteries to historical scandals that shaped our world, we dive deep into the past to uncover the secrets that history tried to bury. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell to stay updated, and join us on this journey into the heart of history's most gripping stories. Because at the Crime Keeper, we believe the truth is often more twisted and unexpected than we could ever imagine. Until next time, stay curious. And never stop uncovering the secrets of the past.